when I think about life after death, I think about what everybody else has told me about it and what they think and what they believe. And it doesn't always sort of make sense to me, to be honest. Um, it's like there's a heaven and there's a hell. And these are Christian people saying things like that to me. We've got really strange rules in this country about ghosts. I mean, if you're a fat bloke and you just die in a gym, you're bound to haunt that gym for eternity. I mean, there was a ghost of a cavalier from like the 1640s that was seen quite frequently in a town near, in the Black Country that my mum and dad used to visit. And she said, I've never seen the ghost myself, but other people had, and it was apparently a common sight to see this cavalier just slowly appearing at the top of the stairs, which doesn't really make any sense if you think about it, because it just stood there like a mannequin. I mean, it would scare the living shit out of you if you lived in that house, wouldn't it, really? It just stands there like that. But during the Civil War, those houses weren't there, so on the battlefield, was it just floating in the middle of, just above everybody's heads? I mean, what the hell's that even mean? I don't get it. It makes no sense. Um, so really, if you're a chubby, overweight ghost or something like that, why are you bound to a certain area for all eternity because you've died there? I don't think that would necessarily be the case. Why? Why would you be death bound to a certain like if someone's been murdered there on a bridge, it becomes murder bridge, and the person that was murdered there is always there. I don't really get that. Why can't it be a case of you just die and you bugger off? You just go somewhere else. Actually, that's quite a disturbing thought, isn't it? It's like there's a lot of sick people out there who die, and that they would be like watching what you do in your intimate moments, in the toilets, oh yeah. But if you're dead, you're no longer a human being anymore. That experience of being a human, in theory, you've broken away from that. The consciousness that's left the human experience, so you won't have any interest in what remains human unless you haven't fully left. They reckon, don't they? They reckon some people can't move on and they're not fully free, and there's little remnants of humanity left in that conscious. You just don't know. You just don't know. Um, the Easterners have a different view. Uh, they do. And I remember seeing a bunch of tribesmen in the middle of nowhere, and they were so happy. They were jumping up and down because they met Westerners, and they tied a string around their bollocks. And they seemed very happy with having such crushed testicles around leaves and stuff. It was a sign of manliness. They actually took peyote or some sort of drug that made them leave their bodies and see the universe as one massive thing. When you're getting that shit-faced, tripping your bollocks off to the point that you have to bind them together so you don't lose them, that says something about the religion, doesn't it? Anyway, Elvis died on the shitter. He died having a poo, eating a burger on the toilet. Is he still there now? Do people get cold spots when they walk past that toilet? You don't see ghosts of cavemen, do you? Or Romans, or cowboys walking around the street, because that's just insane, isn't it? It's opera the fairies, but it's what stands as the sort of idea of what a ghost is. But it doesn't really happen. However, in sort of grieving and loss and death in the family, people do see ghosts there when loved ones come back from the dead to say goodbye, or just say goodbye before they die. It happens. It's a common thing. Peter Fenwick wrote a book about this, and he actually studied this quite closely. And he works in the morgues of the hospital. He wrote a book with his wife, Elizabeth Fenwick, and yeah, it's very common for that, and those are ghosts, and that's quite plausible, isn't it? It's like Jesus who come back from the dead. He died, and then he was resurrected, and lots of people saw him according to the Bible. Maybe that was this sort of thing. They liked the guy very much. They were traumatized by the way he died, and then he comes back through the same psychological system that we all experience when we lose a loved one, and he's just there. And people experienced him in their own unique ways because of all the different testimonies of how he behaved, how he looked, and how he moved, and how it all turned out for them, respectively, as witnesses. Do you know what I mean? It sounds really boring being a ghost, it must be said, or a spirit, because what are you? Are you just floating around, watching people in the air, just invisible thing floating around? No, nothing's human about you anymore because you've got no body. You've got no sense of humanity anymore. You're just a lingering, floating thing. I don't know how you can watch people if you've got no eyes either. You're just a state of being, that's all you can be. Or you could be some replication or like imprinted photograph of yourself stuck in a place where you died, and you'd be bored beyond belief. It sounds awful. And I don't know who dreamed up all these things. It's just us. We just keep on inventing these ideas that make no sense. And maybe religion has got a part to play in this as well. Well, they do. They want you to be either good or bad, heaven or hell. It's about control with them, isn't it? But will we ever get to know and find out? Or maybe it's just not true. I don't know. Well, we got to the end of the video. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers. Bye.